You know that guy, the one who walks into a room and every woman notices him. He's not necessarily the best-looking guy there. He's not wearing designer clothes or driving a Ferrari. He might even be completely ordinary by conventional standards. But there's something about him that just draws people in. Today, I'm revealing the secret that separates naturally attractive men from everyone else. This isn't pickup artist nonsense or fake confidence tricks. This is the real psychology behind magnetic attraction that some men stumble into naturally, while others never discover at all. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what creates that instant magnetic pull and how to develop it in yourself. But first, let me tell you about the moment I cracked this code. Here's where most men get confused about attraction. They see naturally magnetic guys and think, what is he doing that I'm not doing? So, they try to copy the behaviors, the mannerisms, the conversation style. But copying never works because they're missing the essential ingredient, the inner state that creates those behaviors naturally. It's like trying to recreate a smile by moving your facial muscles into the right position without actually feeling happy. Everyone can tell the difference between a genuine smile and a fake one because genuine smiles come from an internal state, not external muscle control. The same principle applies to attractive behavior. Confidence can't be faked long-term because real confidence comes from genuine self-knowledge and self-acceptance. Charisma can't be manufactured because true charisma emerges from authentic engagement with the world around you. Presence can't be performed because presence is the result of actually being present. Rather than being lost in your own head about how you're coming across, I remember trying to copy David's conversational style after that wedding. I practiced his way of asking questions, his timing, even some of his expressions. But when I tried to use them, they felt forced and awkward because they weren't coming from the same place of genuine curiosity and comfort that made them natural for him. The breakthrough came when I stopped trying to be like David and started working on becoming comfortable being like myself. Instead of copying his questions, I got curious about what I was genuinely interested in learning about people. Instead of mimicking his timing, I started paying attention to conversations in a way that made natural timing emerge. Instead of performing confidence, I started building real confidence through experiences that proved to me that I could handle whatever life threw at me. That's when I discovered the most important truth about attraction. Trying to be attractive actually makes you less attractive because trying reveals insecurity and inauthenticity. The men who are most magnetic aren't trying to be magnetic at all. They're simply being themselves, so fully and comfortably that magnetism becomes a natural byproduct. The most attractive men I've studied all share one crucial quality. They feel complete within themselves. They don't need anything from other people to feel whole, worthy, or valuable. This internal completeness creates an energy that others find irresistible because it's so rare in our needy, validation-seeking culture. But complete men approach others from a place of overflow rather than need. They're not trying to get anything from the interaction because they already feel full within themselves. This allows them to be genuinely generous with their attention, curiosity, and presence because they're not keeping score or managing their own emotional needs during the conversation. Another quality that makes certain men instantly attractive is deep self-knowledge combined with comfortable mystery. These men know who they are, what they want, and what they stand for, but they don't feel compelled to explain or justify themselves to everyone they meet. They're like icebergs. What you see on the surface is appealing, but you sense there's much more depth underneath. This combination of self-awareness and restraint creates intrigue that others find compelling. I met a man like this at a conference last year. During the networking breaks, he'd have engaging conversations with people, but he never overshared or tried to impress anyone with his credentials or accomplishments. He asked thoughtful questions and gave thoughtful responses, but there was always a sense that you were only seeing a small part of who he was. The effect was magnetic. People were drawn to him, not because he was trying to draw them, but because he seemed like someone worth getting to know better. He had depth without being heavy, complexity without being complicated, confidence without being arrogant. I realized that most men fall into one of two unattractive extremes. They either overshare everything about themselves in an attempt to connect, or they try to be mysterious by being vague and withholding. Neither approach works because both come from insecurity rather than authentic self-knowledge. The attractive middle ground is knowing yourself deeply, but only sharing what's relevant and appropriate for each interaction. It's being open without being needy, interesting without being show-offy, complex without being confusing. Perhaps the most attractive quality of all is the courage to be authentically yourself, even when it might not be what others want or expect. This kind of authenticity is incredibly rare because most people are so afraid of rejection that they constantly modify themselves to try to fit in or please others. But authentic men are willing to risk not being liked in order to be genuinely themselves. This courage is magnetic because it signals strength, integrity, and self-respect. It also creates the possibility for real connection because you can't connect with someone who's not really there. I learned this lesson through a painful but valuable experience. I was dating someone I really liked, and I found myself constantly trying to be the person I thought she wanted. I modified my opinions, my interests, even my sense of humor to try to keep her interested. The irony was that the more I tried to be perfect for her, the less interested she became. The relationship ended when she told me, "I don't feel like I know who you really are. You seem to change, depending on what you think I want to hear." The results were remarkable. Conversations became more natural because I wasn't monitoring and editing myself constantly. Connections became deeper because I was actually present instead of performing. And yes, sometimes people weren't interested, but the people who were interested were genuinely interested in who I actually was. The most magnetic men I've encountered all share another quality. They have a sense of purpose that extends beyond themselves. They're working on something meaningful, building something valuable, or contributing to something larger than their own immediate gratification. This sense of purpose creates several attractive qualities simultaneously. First, it gives them something interesting to talk about and be passionate about. Second, it demonstrates that they have direction and ambition. Third, it shows that they can delay gratification and work toward long-term goals. And fourth, it suggests that they have something valuable to offer the world beyond just their desire to find a romantic partner. Most importantly, I was no longer looking to romantic relationships to provide my primary source of fulfillment and identity. I already felt fulfilled and purposeful, which meant I could offer that sense of completeness to someone else rather than seeking it from them. The secret of instantly attractive men isn't any single quality or technique. It's the integration of all these elements into a coherent way of being, complete self-acceptance that creates authentic presence, genuine self-knowledge that creates comfortable mystery, courage to be real that creates the possibility for real connection, and purposeful direction that creates forward momentum. When these qualities come together, they create something that can't be faked or manufactured through techniques. They create genuine magnetism that emerges from being fully yourself, rather than trying to be what you think others want. The beautiful paradox is that the more you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for others, but for your own fulfillment and growth, the more attractive you naturally become to others. The more complete you feel alone, the more others want to be part of your completeness. The more you know and accept yourself, the more others want to know. When you do this work, and it is work, something magical happens. You become attractive, not because you're trying to be, but because you're genuinely worth being attracted to. You create connections not through techniques, but through authentic presence. You draw people not through manipulation, but through the magnetic force of someone who is completely comfortable being exactly who they are. That's the secret. That's the code. That's why some men are instantly attractive without trying, because they're not trying at all. They're just being fully authentically, courageously themselves. And that, more than any technique or strategy, is the most attractive thing any person can be. If this video opened your eyes to the source of magnetic attraction, I want to hear from you in the comments. Share your experience with authentic presence versus performance. Tell me about times you felt that natural magnetism in yourself, or witnessed it in others. And remember, the world needs the real you, not another performance.